Today I'm starting our today's question, right? I'm taking our today's question again in the context of that string of pearls. Today's question I am taking that what are the various countermeasures taken by India? What are the various measures taken by India? Various measures taken by India, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, last day the question was related with railways.
That we will discuss tomorrow.
Okay,
Not
sir.
an issue, right? What are the various measures taken by India to counter China's string of pearls policy? This question is also important. With this, that topic will be complete today. China's string of pearls policy, right? So this is the question today. This question is again an important question, right? So what are the various measures taken by India to counter China's string of pearls policy? Right? So in this particular, you can say, question, we will have to discuss that because China's string of pearls policy, as we have discussed in our earlier lectures also, that is really a threat to India and as well as the other countries of the region also, because China is too much aggressive and is trying to dominate the, you can say, Indian Ocean region, seeing its aggressiveness and all. And you can say in the context of the recent you can say border clashes between India and Chinese forces, we can say that it is very much important to know, to, you can say, study that what policy or what strategy has India adopted to counter the China's string of pearls policy, right? So, beta, same thing in this topic we will take, right? The top, the we will write here that India's measures, right, to counter China's string of pearls policy. India's measures. What are the various measures that India is taking or that have been taken by India? So we will write it here, right? So first thing, as per the question, as per the, you can say, our custom, we can say, first thing we will take introduction, right? And second important thing, which we always do, that is, you can say, the explanation, right? And after explanation, the, you can say, third important thing, which we will cover here, that is, you can say, the concluding part, right? Concluding part. So that is the whole scheme to address this, you can say, particular question, right? So as far as the introduction is concerned, in introduction, as I have already told you, that introduction is the summary of your entire answer or summary of your explanation, what you are going to explain, you can say, in the body of the answer, right? So it is basically summary of the explanation, right? Summary of the explanation includes that also. But in this particular, you can say, question, in introduction, we will discuss a little about the string of pearls also, just one or two sentences only, just to introduce that, you can say, this is the string of pearls policy, right? And it is a threat to India. that is there. And then we will have to mention that, right? So you can say, so perceiving the threat from, perceiving the, we can say threat from, perceiving the threat from string of pearls, right? So India is taking,
Sashikal sir.
Sasikal. So India is taking various measures, right? India is taking various measures. We will write about those measures also little bit here, that you can say such and such measures have been taken by India, right? And when we go for the explanation of this particular, you can say, question, then we will write here that the measures which are taken by India, or we can say India's fight with the China's string of pearls policy, fight against the China's string of pearls policy, can be taken into, can be studied into, we can say, two categories. One is the specific measures which India has taken, particularly to counter the string of pearls policy. And secondly, we will see that that earlier engagements, right, which India can, you can say, leverage, which India can leverage to counter China's policy, right? To counter China's policy. So these are the two parts of this body. And as per the requirement of the question, it is various measures taken. So we will focus more on the specific measures, right? So we will focus more on specific measures, right? So you need to focus more on specific measures, right? And this part, you can say, earlier engagement which India can leverage to counter China's policy. This part can be, you can say, addressed in, you can say, maximum 2-3 sentences, not much emphasis, because these are not the particular, you can say, measures which have been taken by India, right? Just in 2-3 sentences only, right? No much weightage should be given to this, right? And as far as the concluding part is concerned, in this concluding part, your main emphasis should be on that, you can say, to what extent India's counter strategy would be effective. India's counter strategy would be effective. So these are the three parts, we can say, to what extent India's counter strategy would be effective here, right? So these are the, we can say, three parts of this answer, right? To what extent India's counter strategy would be effective. So these are the three measures, right? So which need to be taken. We will address this question this way, right? So this is the whole, you can say, draft, right? So is it clear to you that how we have, you can say, categorized it in this, right?
Yes.
So okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yes. So beta, try to, you can say, draw such type of, you can say, mind map, right? If it is possible over there before starting the answer, right? So that will give examiner, and you can say, overall view of your answer also, right? So the next thing is that now we will start from the introduction part, right? So what will be the introduction here? Because somebody's mic is on, please close it, please. turn it off. So introduction, right? So as far as introduction is concerned, right? As far as introduction is concerned, in introduction, we can see that as far as introduction is concerned, in introduction, we will write that you can say one thing is that India is taking a number of steps. We will start from here. India is taking a number of steps to counter China's string of pearls policy, right? String of pearls policy, right? This is China's strategy. This is China's strategy to encircle India, right? By developing, ports and establishing, you can say, military bases in countries surrounding India, right? In countries surrounding India. So this is enough, right? Right. So this series of ports, you can say, this series of ports, no need to write here because we have already mentioned that in the above sentence, right? So next is India is taking, right? India is taking some measures which are specifically designed, right? Which are specifically designed in the wake of Chinese policy, and some earlier engagements of India, right, may also help in antidoting, you can say, Chinese influence in the region, right? So I think only you can say this information is in introduction is, I think, enough according to me, because in this particular thing, beta, may I know who is the person this iPhone? Okay.
Sir, Navriti.
Yes, I have seen. So Chinese influence in the region. So beta, in this particular, you can say, this introduction part, we have defined the string of pearls also, right? Brief meaning of that is there, and you can say threat to India also we have, you can say, given here, right? Countries surrounding India. So that automatically, you can say, indicates that it poses a threat to India, that it's a concern for India, right? And then we have further mentioned that we have two types of, you can say, strength. One is the specifically designed measures to counter the China's string of policies, and second, we can leverage the earlier engagements of India in the region, right? Earlier engagements also can be leveraged, you can say, to counter the China's string of pearls policy. So in this introduction, right, I have given a book and you can say overview that what is my approach, right? And you can say, what do I understand about the requirement of this question, right? So is it clear? So this is, you can say, our introduction, right? So next to introduction, we will enter into the, you can say, steps taken by India, right? So now next part is really steps taken by India. This is an important thing, right? So I advise you to focus on the lecture, right? Steps taken by India, right? So as far as the steps taken by India is concerned, as I have already cleared in the introductory part of the answer, that there are two types of, we can say, measures, right? So steps taken by India, right? So I have already cleared it, right? So now, as far as the steps taken by India is concerned, so we will mention here that India is doing efforts. India is doing efforts on all fronts, which includes, right, on all fronts, which includes strategic investment, and engagement with other countries, strategic investments and engagement with other countries, right? Surrounding with other countries, surrounding or helpful, in surrounding India, we can see right here, surrounding India, right? Or helpful in, we can say, countering string of pearls, by China, right? Encountering string of pearls by China, right? And India is taking, you can say, India is forming strategic military alliances also, right? Strategic military alliances also. So we have mentioned here that here in the beginning again, right? That we have three types of measures, right? One measure is a strategic investment, which we are doing, right? One measure is that is the strategic investment part, right? And the second measure is engagement with countries, right, of the region, right, surrounding India, or of the region, we can say, of Indian Ocean region is much appropriate here. And next is, you can say, forming strategic military alliances with other countries. So these are the three types of measures which we can say we are taking, right? These are the three types of measures which we are taking here, right? So is it clear up to this point to everybody?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So can I erase it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. So now, beta, we will take it that now we will, you can say, draw a rough, you can say, sketch of this, right? So from that it will become clear that what are the various, you can say, steps, etc. So that will become clear, right? So first of all, let me take here that number one, we will take specific measures, as I have already discussed, told you, so specific measures, right? And the second is what I would say, right? The second part is, I would say, that is the earlier engagements. These are the two things, right? Earlier engagements, which we can use here also. So these are the two important things, right? So as far as the specific measures are concerned, specific measures we will again divide into two parts, right? The specific measures, again, we will divide into two parts, right? So one part of this is that we will take here, right? One part of this is, we can say, we can call it diplomatic efforts, right? Diplomatic efforts. In one part, we will take it, right? And as far as the second part is concerned, in the second part, we will mention the, you can say, military engagements. Military engagements. This is the second part. Military engagements, right? Right. So better try to focus that how to, you can say, design your answer, right? Try to focus on these things, right? So in diplomatic efforts, right, we will write here and say number one, which will be here in diplomatic efforts, that is, we can say, necklace of diamonds. Have you heard about that? Necklace of diamonds.
No, sir.
Okay. So beta, this is the first thing, right? Necklace of diamonds, right? And the second measure is with a project Mawsum. Have you heard about this also? Project Mawsum, right? And the third is with a Asia Africa Growth Corridor. This is the third, AAGC, Asia Africa Growth Corridor, right? And the fourth is investments in countries surrounding China. That is the fourth point here, right? And the fifth point will be Chabahar Port. Otherwise, we will discuss it in above, like necklace of diamonds also. No need to separate it mentioned. So these are the diplomatic efforts I would like to tell you, right? And as far as the military engagements are concerned, so India has fostered military engagements with, you can say, with a number of countries, right? So, which includes, you can say, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea. These countries are surrounding China, South Korea, and even you can say they have interest in the South China Sea also. South Korea, and then Singapore. Then we can say Thailand, and Indonesia. And Myanmar. Oman, right? Oman, and Madagascar, right? So these are the some of the countries, right? There are more countries even, but I have written some countries here, right? So Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Myanmar, Oman, Madagascar, Seychelles also. So these are the various countries which we can say, right? So as far as the earlier engagements are concerned, right? As far as the earlier engagements are concerned, the earlier engagements will include, you can say, Quad, right? Quad is a joint military exercise, which is, you can say, participated by the four countries, right? Previous to 2019, it was participated by, up to 2019, it was participated by three countries only, that is India, US, and Japan. And in 2019, Australia has also showed interest to, you can say, join this exercise. And so Quad means a group of the four countries, that is India, US, Japan, and you can say Australia, right? So this is about the Quad I have told you in brief. And similarly, India's Low East policy, which was shaped by India's Prime Minister B.V. Narasimha Rao, and then PM Modi has given it name, the Act East policy, given it the name Act East policy. Next is Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, we can say it. We will discuss these things in separate. Indian Ocean Commission also, of which India is a member. Next, India's support to SARC, which is not specifically designed with this for this purpose, because SAARC was having no concern with India's string of pearls policy when it was, you can say, designed, right? Then Indo-US ties, Indo-US relations, we can say, right? So Indo-US ties is there. And then after that, we can say INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, right? International North-South Transport Corridor. Then BBIN, Bhutan, Bangladesh, India, right? You can say Nepal, right? So this is a road connectivity project, right? So next is IMT, trilateral highway, right? IMT trilateral highway, right? So IMT means India, Myanmar, and Thailand trilateral highway project, right? So next is India's support to Mauritius, right? Mauritius, and next is ties with France and Australia, and Australia. So these are the various earlier engagements which India can, you can say, leverage, right, against the string of pearls policy. So this is the whole situation. This is the whole case, right? See, beta, in this particular, you can say, in this particular flow chart, you can say, I have given you some new things, necklace of diamonds, which is important from examination point of view. Okay, project Mosam, important, right? AAGC is important, right? And then here is Quad is important, low East policy is important, IORA is important, IUC is important for this, right? INSTC, BBIN, IMT. So beta, these are the things. These are the IMT, BBIN, INSTC, right? AAGC. These are the various connectivity projects, right? These are the connectivity projects, we can say. And these, you can say, even out of the context of this question also, right? These are otherwise also very much important for your UPSC examination, these various topics which I have taken here, right? So beta, this is your responsibility to, you can say, make brief notes of all these topics, right? Okay. So is it clear up to this point to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. Okay. So, right, you can raise your doubt anytime. So now, should I move further? Can I erase it?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we will move further. As I have already told you, that our main focus will be on, you can say, specific measures which we have taken to counter the China's string of policy. And regarding the other measures, we can just mention the names only, that you can say these are the earlier engagements which can be leveraged against the China's string of pearls policy in case it is required. So in this, first of all, we will discuss, you can say, necklace of diamonds, right? We will discuss necklace of diamonds, right? Necklace of diamonds. First of all, let me see the, you can say, map we, you can see, open that day. Let me check it. If that map will serve the purpose, we can use that map. Otherwise, I will open the one also. Let me try other one. This is also not much clear. Just give me a 1 minute to, you can say, search on the search here. Right. Just 1 minute. Okay. So beta, let us see this map, right? I hope this map will be visible to you. Is it visible, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. So this will, you can see, disturb you. Let me cut it. So this is the, you can say, this map, right? So beta, as far as this policy is concerned, which we are saying, you can say that this a necklace of diamonds, right? So necklace of diamonds involves the countries, like we can say here it involves the Japan, right? It involves Japan, right? And here we can say it involves Japan. After Japan, beta, right? It involves you can say here Vietnam also, right? It involves Vietnam also. And after Vietnam, beta, it involves, you can say here, Singapore also. Singapore is here, very small country. It involves Indonesia also, right? Which is the, we discussed that day that it is, you can say that Sabang port. No? So it involves this, this also we can say, this tip, this part also. Right, so beta, it involves this here Chabahar port of Iran also. Right, so it involves beta here this we can say Oman also, Duqm port of Oman, right? Duqm port of, you can say, Oman, right? So beta, it involves this also, Oman also, and further we can say beta, this part involves the here we can see number of countries here, which is the this is the Madagascar, right? This is Madagascar proper, right? And here is a country which is the Mauritius, we can say, right? And here is a French territory, which is the Reunion Island, right? And beta, here is one more country which is the Seychelles, right? Seychelles, sorry, Comoros, and beta, here is the country Seychelles, right? So beta, these are the various, we can say, countries which have been, we can say, involved by India, right, into its necklace of diamond approach, right? So into its necklace of diamond policy, right? So we can move this way, right? So from here we can move this way, this side, right? This side, right? And this side, right? And further we can say, right? And
Sir, Comoros ही है.
yes, just I am telling you, let me make it complete first, right? So I'm telling you. So the next is Mongolia. Also, India has done strategic investment in Mongolia also, right? So, so beta, from here we can say it will lead to Mongolia. So beta, this is called the necklace of diamonds. Is it visible to everybody, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, right, beta. Nishank, visible? Okay. So
Yes,
beta,
sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So beta, one is this. This is Japan, Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia. This is Mauritius. This is Reunion Island, right? Reunion is a French territory. It is not a separate country. This is Madagascar. And this is the Comoros, COMOROS. And this is the Seychelles, SEYCHELLES. And this is Oman. And this is Iran. And this is, you can say, Mongol. Right? This is Mongol. So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beta, now we are discussing the next points, right? So I was to just show you the various countries involved in this necklace of diamonds, right? So now we will, you can say, have a discussion, right, on this. One is Japan, right? So beta, as far as the Japan is concerned, we can say, right? So as far as the Japan is concerned, so first of all, write a little about this necklace of diamond. What is this necklace of diamond? Because we have to clear this also, right? So we can write that necklace of diamonds is a counter strategy. Is a counter strategy. Is a counter strategy adopted by India. Is a counter strategy adopted by India, which is aimed at encircling China, which is aimed at encircling China by expanding naval bases, defense partnerships, right? Or making defense partnerships, or making strategical investments, in countries, right, around or near China, right, around or near China, or in the Indian Ocean region, right, Indian Ocean region, near the China's, you can say, string of pearls. So this is the necklace of diamonds strategy of India, right? This is a counter strategy to that string of pearls. Is it clear, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay. So beta, now we will move next. So as far as the Japan is concerned, so what we have done in Japan, or what we are doing with Japan, right? So as far as the Japan is concerned, in 2019, India and Japan, right? India and Japan conducted bilateral military exercises in India under the name of, right? So two military exercises were conducted. One is, we can say, DHARMA, Dharma Guardian, right? Dharma Guardian, you can say, 2019. This was between Indian Army, and Japanese, self-defense forces, right? So one is this, and the second is, you can say, Shinyu, SHINYU, right? Shinyu, we can say Maitri, MAITRI, Shinyu Maitri, 2019 between, right, between Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, and we can say Indian Air Force, right, and Indian Air Force. So this is the second exercise which India and Japan did, you can say, right? So next, the important thing is that the 2+2 dialogue, the 2+2 dialogue which started, right, which started in 2010 at Defense and Foreign Secretariat level, Defense and Foreign Secretariat level, has been promoted, right, promoted to 2+2 ministerial dialogue, 2+2 ministerial dialogue, right, ministerial dialogue. Now next, the first ever ministerial dialogue, ministerial dialogue was held in 2019 in New Delhi. Right? So this is the next thing, right? And next, negotiations are in progress. Negotiations are in progress between India and Japan. Right? India and Japan on we can say acquisition and cross servicing, on acquisition and cross servicing agreement which is ACSG, cross servicing agreement, right? So under the agreement, the navies of both countries, could access, you can say, each other's military, you can say, bases for logistic purposes, right? For logistic purposes, right? India will be able to access Japanese base in we can say the Djibouti, right? Japan has also a naval base there in the Djibouti, and Japanese ships would dock at naval base of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, right? Or dock at Andaman and Nicobar Islands, right? So the next है Japan, which is a part of trilateral Malabar exercise, of India, US, and Japanese naval forces, hosted Malabar 2019 also. So beta, this is there. Now I will tell you little about the Malabar exercise. I am giving you more detail, right? And you can tailor it according to the need of your answer, right? You can make it short, right? So this is there. Have you written this?
1 minute, sir.
Okay. Can I erase it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm telling you little about this. You can say Malabar exercise. I'm telling you little about this. The purpose of Malabar exercise, we can say, the purpose of Malabar exercise is to promote interoperability, right, among the naval forces of participating countries, with special focus on counter piracy, right, and counter-terrorism operations, right, counter-terrorism operations. It was started by Indian and US, right, and between Indian and US forces, right, and Japan joined later. In 2015. Right? Malabar exercise is held in, you can say, water in Indo-Pacific region, in the territories of participating countries. Okay? Territories of participating countries, right? Australia is also willing. Australia is also willing to join. Okay, first time in 2018. The exercise was held in. American territory of Guam. Guam Island है, right? American territory of Guam. Right? So it was held first time there in American territory of Guam. Okay. So let me show you the Guam also. This is the supplement. So beta, Guam is basically a territory, we can say. Guam is a territory which lies here in the Pacific Ocean. Right? So first time this exercise was held in 2018 in the, you can say, American territory. Right? So 2019 exercise was, you can say, held in this Japanese territory. Right? अदरवाइज बे ऑफ बंगाल, अंडमान एंड निकोबार के पास, इधर अरेबियन सी के पास, मतलब यहाँ होती रहती है ये जो एक्सरसाइज है इनकी, राइट. सो बेटा दिस इज अबाउट द environment of Japan in this. Is it clear up to this point, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. Okay. So now we will move on to the next part, right? So this is about the Japan in the necklace of diamonds. Next we will talk about the Vietnam. Next we will talk about the Vietnam, right? So Vietnam. So beta, as far as the Vietnam is concerned, with Vietnam also, we are increasing our ties because China and Vietnam are not at good terms, right? So that is why India is taking it as an opportunity. India is making investments in Vietnam, and we are supplying some, you can say, military equipment also to this country, right? So the two countries, India and Vietnam, are strategic partners. India and Vietnam are strategic partners, right? They are strategic partners. The two nations held their first, right, security dialogue, right, in 2018. Held their first security dialogue in 2018 under the maritime cooperation between two countries, right? Between two countries, Indian naval ships make right? Naval ships make regular friendly visits to Vietnam. And Vietnamese ship also visited India. Right? Also visited India in 2016. You can write, otherwise no need. Right? Under the Indo-Vietnamese defense ties, right? Defense ties, you can see. Under the Indo-Vietnamese defense ties, we can say, right? India would supply BrahMos, right? BrahMos and Akash, missiles, right? Missiles to Vietnam. Akash missiles to Vietnam. The two countries have bilateral, right? The two countries have bilateral collaborations in the fields of, we can say, IT, information and technology, right? Agriculture, remote sensing, right? And environment protection also. Right? But you can cut it short, right? No need to mention everything, because I am just mentioning because it can help you somewhere else also, right? So during you can see, during the 2018 visit, of Indian president to Vietnam, you can say, to Vietnam, the leaders of the two countries right? The leaders of the two countries agreed to promote collaboration, between army, air force, and naval force and coast guard also, right? And coast guard also. So we are developing this type of relationship, right? And strengthen cooperation in we can say in other maritime domains, like security of sea lanes, anti-piracy, can say anti-piracy, security of sea lanes, anti-piracy, and exchange of white shipping, right? White shipping, etc. Right. So, beta, here is that here the term has been used, which is the white shipping. White shipping means right exchange of information on the merchant ships, right? One is the naval ships, and second is merchant ships. So the ships which carries the uh, goods, and we can say oil, fuel, etc., gas, etc., right? So merchant shipping. So it means sharing of information on merchant shipping, right? Sharing of information on merchant shipping, right? So that is called the white shipping practice, right? White shipping. So next, should I erase it?
Sir, 1 minute only, please.
Okay. So beta, these are very much important questions which I am telling you right here. These are important for your preliminary also, right? Like maritime cooperation between the two countries, right? So then India will supply BrahMos missile and Akash missiles to Vietnam. Such type of questions can be asked in your examination, right? And collaboration in these fields, in the field of IT, agriculture, remote sensing, environment protection, etc., right? Indian presidents visit the two countries, agreed to collaborate with this. These you can say 2-3 things are quite important for your preliminary examination as well, right? So next paragraph right here, that is the next paragraph is, you can say that next paragraph is in the light of this, this and Vietnam's territorial dispute with China, right? Dispute with China on territories in South China Sea region, in South China Sea, right? South China Sea. Vietnam seems to be trustworthy partner at on today. Vietnam seems to be trustworthy partner as on today, right? As on today. So we are taking Vietnam like this also, trustworthy partner as on today. So beta, this is about the Vietnam, right? So is it clear that what type of relations we are having with the Vietnam? This is in brief, I'm telling you, right? So I'm deleting it, erasing it. So the next comes, that is the Singapore, right? So next comes Singapore. So beta, as far as we can see Singapore is concerned, right? There is a something important which we can say Because you are not asking any question today. What is the reason? Nobody is asking any question.
Sir, actually the material is new.
Okay. So Singapore, right? So as far as the Singapore is concerned, so as we have already discussed that Changi Naval Base, Changi Naval Base of Singapore, Changi Naval Base of Singapore is one of the three, we can say, strategical bases of Indian armed forces, we can say armed forces, right, which India got access to, in 2018, right, got access to in 2018 as a result of India-Singapore, we can say bilateral agreement, India-Singapore bilateral agreement for Navy cooperation, Indian Navy ships, right, Indian Navy ships, you can say, are allowed at Changi for refueling, right, and other, you can say, logistical support, right? So they are, you can say, allowed there, other logistical support too. And Singapore wants both sides to engage. Right? Both sides to engage more actively in the Strait of Malacca. More actively in the Strait of Malacca, right? Through which China's oil and gas imports pass. Through which China's oil and gas imports pass, right? Changi is located in, we can say, in eastern part of Singapore, which is close to South China Sea. Eastern part of Singapore, which is close to South China Sea. Okay? The persons who are not on camera, are they all there or they have left the class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Which is close to South China Sea, right? So this is close to the South China Sea. The agreement looks at increased cooperation. The agreement looks at increased cooperation in maritime security, and joint exercises also. In next para, we can say, right, Singapore India maritime bilateral exercise. Singapore India maritime bilateral exercise, which is known as the SIMBAX, right? Singapore India maritime bilateral exercise, SIMBAX. This is known, is an annual, right? Is an annual, you can say, bilateral exercise conducted by the navies of the two countries. Navies of the two countries. Navies of the two countries, right? So this is there, right? So Simbex 19, Simbex 2019, we can say, was held in Simbex 2019 was held in South China Sea, right? Was held in South China Sea. So this is, you can say, broadly about our engagement with Singapore, right? About our engagement with Singapore. Have you written it? Noted it?
No, sir.
Okay. Note it, beta. Firstly. So should I raise it?
Yes.
Can I raise it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, beta. So after Singapore, there is Indonesia. We'll discuss a little about the Indonesia also, our engagement with Indonesia, right? Engagement with Indonesia. So regarding Indonesia, we can say that India is developing a deep sea port in Indonesia, right? India is developing a deep sea port, right? A deep sea port in Indonesia, right? Near, or we can say in the north of Sumatra, right? In the north of Sumatra, on particular island where this port is, that is called the V Island, right? It's a group in that V Island, right? So it's a strategic island. It is a strategic island. We can say because of its location, which is near to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Nicobar Islands of India, and the Strait of Malacca, So that is why this is very strategically very important. You can say island for us, right? Strait of Malacca. Okay, India and Indonesia signed a vision document. India and Indonesia signed a vision document called shared vision of maritime cooperation in the Indo-Pacific Ocean के अंदर to increase the maritime cooperation, right? They have signed a vision document, right? Which contains the shared vision of the two countries, and this was signed in 2018. Right? 2018. Under the document, we can say deepening economic and people-to-people exchange. Deepening of economic and people-to-people change. And people-to-people change, right? people to people exchange, sorry, change is wrong word, exchange, right, including connectivity, with the port of Sabang, right, was initiated as key priority areas, right? Key priority areas, initiated as key priority areas, we can say, right? As key priority areas, the countries hold bilateral, right? Bilateral naval exercises, under the name Samudra Shakti, under the name Samudra Shakti also, right? Its second edition was held. In 2019 in Bay of Bengal. 2019 in Bay of Bengal. So this is the, right? So this is about the Indonesia. So we can say Samudra Shakti, that is with this country. Simbex is with Singapore, right? Simbex is with Singapore. So you must remember these names also, right? So this is about Indonesia, our relation with Indonesia, right? So next important thing, is it clear? Am I, can I
Yes,
erase
sir.
it? Erase
Yes,
it?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beta, next thing, let me first, you can say, go to the map again. Open it again. As far as this map is concerned, beta, in this map, one important thing which I am telling you for your examination or for your knowledge purpose, that is important, that this entire part, right? This entire part of Africa, right? So these are known as the Vanilla Islands. Have you heard about it? These islands are known as Vanilla Islands, right? Because of too much cultivation of vanilla, right, in this area, right? Too much cultivation of vanilla in this region. So these are known as Vanilla Islands. So remember it, right? Right. And these islands are also known as the, you can say, gateway to Africa. Gateway to Africa due to this reason that when this you can say, when this route, better somebody's mic is on, please turn it off. When somebody's, when you can say, when this route was not in operation, this maritime route, Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, and this, then at that time, the, you can say, entire shipping traffic from the this East America or from the Europe, right, which was to come to India, they, you can say, wasted through this route, right, this route. And similarly, entire shipping traffic from India was also wasted through this route, right? So beta, that is why, yes, Cape of Good Hope, it is here, Cape of Good Hope lies here at the bottom, right? So beta, that is why at that time, right, from the, you can say, Asian side, when you want to enter into this, we can say, Africa, right, this was the route. So beta, that is why this region is known as this, you can say, gateway to Africa as well, right? So before the Suez, before, you can say, Suez Canal, this Vanilla Island region was strategically very much important region, right? And after the, you can say, construction of the Suez Canal, the importance of this region, you can say, came down a little, but still this region is an important region, you can say, to keep a watch and surveillance on this Indian Ocean, right? For various activities in this Indian Ocean, right? So that is important, beta, right? So beta, as we discussed that day, right? So beta, USA has a naval base here, Hana, in the Djibouti. We discussed that day, na? USS naval base here in the Djibouti, right? So beta, if India makes a base here, and beta, if India makes a base here also, so then it would be easy for us to, you can say, counter America, counter China, right? So that is why India is also taking some, you can say, strategic moves in this particular, you can say, uh, sector, right? So now let me return on this. So now, yes, Simran, what do you want to ask?
Hanji, sir. Sir, please name these islands of Vanilla Island.
Okay, okay. Beta, Vanilla Islands include that you can say Mauritius, Reunion, right? Mauritius, Reunion, Madagascar, Comoros, right? Madagascar, Comoros, Seychelles, right? Seychelles, right? And beta, one more island that is there, which is called the Mayotte Island. Let me show you the Mayotte also. Mayotte lies somewhere here, beta. The Mayotte Island also, right? So Mayotte lies somewhere here. Just you can say, just below this, you can say Comoros. Comoros के पास ही है ये बिल्कुल, यहाँ पड़ा है कहीं, right? यहाँ Comoros के पास ही पड़ा है. So this is Mayotte, Mayotte, right? So beta,
Repeat करना spelling.
Mayotte, Mayotte also, right? So beta, one is here. Here it is the Seychelles. One is here. It is the Comoros, and one is here. It is the Mayotte, and one is here. This is the Madagascar, and one is here. This is called Mauritius, and one is here. This is called Reunion, right? And this passage, you can say, in between the two, Mozambique and you can see Africa, this passage of water is known as the Mozambique Channel, right? Mozambique Channel. So Mozambique Channel separates this Madagascar from the African main continent, right? So this is there, right? So beta, these are the various, we can say, things, right? These are the various important points here. And beta, and beta, in these we can say, I'm just marking this Mayotte and Reunion. These are the French territories, right? These two are the French territories, and the rest three are the sovereign countries, right?
So which one Mute and which one is other?
Reunion,
Okay.
right? So these are the French territories there. Okay.
Ones are?
Pardon?
Other ones are?
Mayotte and Reunion. These are the French territories. Hello.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And sir, she is asking other ones are of which country?
Beta, those are the sovereign countries, independent
Sovereign countries. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So necklace of diamonds, right? So now we will talk about the Madagascar. We'll talk about the Madagascar, right? So Madagascar. So beta, as far as the Madagascar is concerned, one thing is important that India has appointed, right, a defense, right, attaché, a TSCHE attaché in Indian mission in Madagascar. Right? So beta, what is this? We can say defense attaché. So this is important to know, right? So I think you must not be knowing about this. Is anybody knowing about this? What is its purpose?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So beta, basically defense attaché. What is this, right? So defense attaché is a defense expert, right? Office of defense expert, we can say, right? Is a defense expert appointed by a country, right? Another country to keep watch on the, right? To keep watch on the activities, on the defense activities there, on the defense activities there, on the defense activities there, and right, on defense activities there, and we can say, right, and provide, right, uh, guidance to their defense forces, right, provide guidance to their defense forces. So this is an important, you can say, thing which India has done there, right? So it means we are guiding the forces of the Madagascar now by appointing a defense attaché, right? So beta, this is an important thing, right? So is it okay? So right, so about Vanilla Island, I have already told you, right? So next is that after India and Madagascar, after India and Madagascar signed a defense agreement, in 2018. Indian naval ships, right? Indian naval ships, we can say, are visiting the country, right? Visiting the country. And India has offered credit of, you can say, credit of dollar 80.7, we can say, million for agriculture and mechanization there. Agriculture, mechanization, machinikaran, right? Mechanization there. So India has offered this credit also to the Madagascar. So it means Madagascar, actually Madagascar is strategically an important country. Right? So
is it 80.7 or 807?
80.7, beta, 80.7. It was mistake here. 80.7, right? So this is the. So is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us move on to the next one. That is the Comoros, right? The Comoros. So beta, these are the current affairs also, you can say, right? Which we are discussing with you, all these things, right? Appointment of defense attaché, right? Line of credit given, okay? Cooperation in agriculture, cooperation in the mechanization of that country. So these are the current affair topics as well, right? So
This we are covering a good portion of the GS to international relation part also.
yes, international
Recent development
relations.
in the international relations.
Yes, right. So we are covering, you can say, a wide spectrum of the general studies, right, including your current affairs also, paper 3 also, right, paper 2 also. So we are covering a wide, you can say, spectrum, right? So in 2019, right, during Indian president, during Indian vice presidents, right? One thing important to be noted here, beta, Indian vice president. What is the name of Indian vice president? What is the name of Indian vice president, please?
Venkaiah Naidu.
Venkaiah Naidu. So, beta, he was the first Indian dignitary to visit Comoros, right? To pay official visit to Comoros, first Indian dignitary, right? So in 2019, during Indian Vice President's visit to Comoros, the two countries, right? The two countries signed MOUs, on cooperation in the fields of health, right? Defense, in the fields of health, defense, you can say medicine, and we can say medical equipment, medicine, and we can say that arts and culture also, right? So at that time, beta, gifted to Comoros. So India gifted to Comoros. What was gifted by India to Comoros at that time? Right, number one, India gifted to Comoros medicines and medical equipment. Right, worth $1 million. One is this, right? Worth $1 million. So one is this, which we you can say gifted them by the Vice President of India. And second thing, which the Vice President of India gifted them, that was, you can say, 1,000 metric tons of rice. So that was also gifted by India to this country, right? Rice. And the third one, which India gifted to Comoros at that time during the visit of the Vice President of India there, that is the interceptor boats, right? So we can say worth $2 million, right? We offered them boats also worth $2 million, and then we offered them, you can say, next what we offered them, that was, we can say, transport vehicles. What we offered them, that was transport vehicles, right? Transport vehicles, right? Worth dollar, or you can say 1 million again. Worth $1 million again, right? 1 million. So these things were gifted by the Vice President of our country to Comoros. And apart from that, right? Apart from that, India extended a line of credit. India extended a line of credit of $20 million, right? $20 million for procurement of high-speed interceptor boats, right? High-speed interceptor boats, right? To counter the various, you can say, pirates or like that, interceptor boats, right? In the country, right, to the country. So this is about this, you can say, Comoros, right? So our relation with Comoros, right? So beta, through these things which we are discussing, so we can say the one more question which we can cover, okay? India's strategy towards Africa also, right? So this will also help you there, right? India's strategy with towards Africa also, right? So we are not particularly focusing on the, you can say, debt trap approach, which is the policy of China, right? So that is the difference between the string of pearls and our necklace of diamonds, right? So next is Seychelles. right? Seychelles. So as far as this Seychelles is concerned, as far as this we can say Seychelles is concerned. Seychelles, right? So here again, India and Seychelles developed an understanding according to which the two, the two developed an understanding according to which you can say, right, India would help Seychelles to, you can say, develop a naval base, at, we can say, Assumption Island of Seychelles, right? Assumption Island of Seychelles. So we have developed an understanding with the country, but the plan was stuck. Plan was stuck due to opposition in the country. In the country means in Seychelles. I'm leaving it. Seychelles, right? Because it could not get through the parliament of that country, Seychelles, right? But in 2018, it came into motion again. Right? It came into motion again when we can say India gave the country, when India gave the country a Dornier aircraft. So we gave that country one aircraft, right? Dornier aircraft, right? Dornier aircraft, right? We can say, and offered it a $100 million, right? $100 million defense-related line of credit. Defense-related line of credit. We offered that also to augment defense capabilities of the country, right? Defense capabilities of Seychelles. So this is, we can say, the India's strategy there, right? Seychelles, right? So is it clear? Can I erase it?
No, sir, no.
Okay, note it down.
Sir, line of credit के बाद क्या लिखा है? To
Line of credit to augment, AUGMENT, augment defense capabilities to Seychelles.
सर क्या मतलब है इसका?
Line of credit बेटा एक तो होता है credit, एक होता है line of credit, right? So there is a difference between the two, right? Credit means, right, I provide you credit. Let's suppose rupees 1 lakh, right? That means I gave you the amount, right, in one go, right? I gave you the amount in one go. If it is that, right, the amount in one go, right, and you can use it, right? And if I offer you a line of credit of rupees 1 lakh, line of credit of rupees 1 lakh, right? That means that the entire amount of credit would not be given you in one go, right? The entire amount would not be given you in one go, right? It would be given, right, as your as your project, you can say, as your project progresses, right? So in many installments, you will get the amount, right? So line of credit means I have approved rupees 1 lakh for you. You can go ahead and you can start your project. Okay. Whenever you need the money, come to me. I will pay you the money out of that, right? Suppose today you need 10,000, I gave you 10,000, right? After 1 month, you need 5,000, I gave you 5,000, right? After 3 months, you need 50,000, I gave you 50,000. So beta, in that way, right, an amount of rupees 1 lakh will be completed. So this is the meaning of the line of credit. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, beta. So the next point is now after Seychelles, the next thing is that Mauritius, right? Mauritius. So as far as the Mauritius is concerned, beta, right? So as far as the Mauritius is concerned, right? The case of Mauritius is that as far as the Mauritius is concerned, we can say the head of, this is a very important thing, the head of, right, I mean, the head of Mauritius Navy and National Security Advisor of the country are, we can say, Indian officers. So this is a very good thing, very big thing basically, are Indian officers. One is that, right? And second, a coastal surveillance, you can say a radar station of coastal surveillance radar station of Indian, right, navies, of Indian navies, we can say communication, right, of Indian navies communication, right, you can say Indian navies command control communication, Indian navies command control communication, right, intelligence network, right, is also located there, right? Intelligence network is also located there, right? So this is another important thing, right? Is also located there, right? So this is about the Mauritius, and moreover, our relations with Mauritius are quite good because Mauritius, you can say you can say after Singapore, Mauritius is the second country from which the highest inflow of foreign direct investment comes to India. Right? Actually, both the countries are competing. Sometimes you can say Singapore comes at number 1, and sometimes Mauritius comes at number 1. Right? Foreign direct investment is coming to India from these routes. So next point. Right? Next is Oman. Oman. Right? So as far as Oman is concerned, so as far as we can say Oman is concerned, the next is, right? So regarding Oman, we can say that in 2018, India and Oman, right? India and Oman signed agreements, right, on defense cooperation. Signed agreements on defense cooperation, maritime crime prevention, right? Maritime crime prevention, maritime, you can say, issues, and flight safety information exchange and flight safety information exchange, right? Flight safety information exchange, right? Flight safety information exchange. The agreement gives Indian Navy access to we can say Dukum, right, port on Indian Ocean, right? Dukum port on Indian Ocean, right to India, right to वो तो लिखिए, ठीक है, to Indian Ocean. So that is the right written to Indian Ocean. And the next is Oman renders technical support. Oman renders technical support for landing. Technical support for landing of Indian Force planes. Air Force planes also. Indian Air Force planes also. Right. So this is our collaboration with Oman. Yeah. Right. So this is about Oman. That's it,
Sir,
okay?
here renders means, sir, Oman is giving support for
Yes,
Indian Air Force planes.
We provide. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm erasing it now. So the next is Iran, right? The next comes Iran, right? So Iran, right? Just 2-3 lines about Iran, right? And then we'll move on to the next thing. Right? Iran. So beta, as far as Iran is concerned, India has developed a strategic Iranian port, right? Iranian port on Indian Ocean. Strategic Iranian port on Indian Ocean. We have developed that port, right? The port is very close to it's very close to the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. The only choke point of the Persian Gulf. Choke point of the Persian Gulf, right? And you can say Gwadar port and Gwadar port of Pakistan. Okay, which is a part of CPEC, we can say, project, right? Which is a part of CPEC project, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project, right? So it is a part of that, right? Gwadar is quite close to India. Gwadar is quite close to India. Quite close to India, right? Quite close to India, and gives China access to Arabian Sea. You can say Indian Ocean also. You can say here, and provide a route to China, which is right, which we can say serves as a alternative to the Strait of Malacca route, right? Alternative to the Strait of Malacca route. So we need to mention it that way, right? So, right. So Chabahar project, the name of the project in Iran, right? So Chabahar project involves we can say a rail line project also involves a rail line project also rail line project also, right? To connect, you can say, to connect Chabahar with Afghanistan. Chabahar with Afghanistan, it is there, right, via Iran. But in July 2020, right, China and China and Iran entered into a strategic partnership. Right, after which you can say Iran has, right, after which Iran has dropped India from Chabahar port. So this is about that Chabahar port project, right? So you can study these projects in detail, right? So this will be your duty, your responsibility, right? So is it done up to this point? Any doubt of
Second, sir.
anybody? Okay. Any doubt of
Yes, sir.
anybody, you can ask me.
हाँ जी सर हो गया.
Okay, right. So next is Mongolia, right? Next is Mongolia, right? So beta, India. Next is Mongolia. So as far as Mongolia is concerned, we would write here that Mongolia is China's immediate neighbor in the north. Immediate neighbor in the north, right? In the north, right? India has given Mongolia and is helping it, right, build its first oil refinery, right? India has given Mongolia $1 billion, right? $1 billion loan, right? And is helping it build its oil refinery, right? Which is expected to be completed by 2022, right? Once it is completed, so India's dependence on Russia for fuel would end. Dependence on Russia for fuel would end, and it will increase Mongolia's GDP by 10%. It will increase Mongolia's GDP by 10%, right? So we can say, so Mongolia is another diamond, right? Is another diamond in India's strategic necklace. To counter China, right? in India's strategic necklace to counter China. So this is the right counter China. So is it clear, beta? So this is we have discussed about the necklace. Necklace of diamonds, right? That what is India doing? Right.
Yes, sir.
So the second,
सर एक मिनट रह गया थोड़ा प्लीज.
okay, but let me try if it will be come back. If it will come back, noted.
हाँ जी सर हो गया.
Okay. Okay. So the next is that is the project motion, right? Project motion. So as far as this project motion is concerned, there is not much specific. You can say this is quite a simple thing, right? We can say the one thing which is important here, that is it is an Indian initiative, right? Announced in 2014. So one important thing is this about that. Okay. Aims at countering China's string of pearls. Aims at countering China's string of pearls. So ultimate aim we can say of this project is this, right? That is there, right? So it's a project of, right? So it is a project of Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Ministry of Culture, Government of India. And it is implemented by the Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts. Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, right? For the arts. Okay, so it is IGNCA. It's written like that, IGNCA, right? So with the support of right, archaeological survey of India, and the National Museum, right? And the National Museum, right? So it is being carried out with the support of these two, and you can say main responsibility of the implementation of this project motion is that of this Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts. Okay, and it is a project of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, right? So these are the two important things about this project, right? So the next we will write in this is that, right? So it links, we can say littoral states, right? Littoral states, the states on the border of the Indian Ocean. Littoral states of Indian Ocean, right? Littoral states of Indian Ocean, right? As well as those, you can write it only this, littoral states of Indian Ocean, right? And the next important thing is that it is to reconnect and re-establish. It is to reconnect and re-establish communication between understanding of cultural values and concerns. cultural values and concerns, right? At macro level, we can say the project focuses on at macro level, the project focuses on, right? Focuses on understanding national cultures, right? Understanding national cultures. Understanding national cultures and you can say the project understanding national cultures, right? So it involves 39 countries of the region. It involves 39 countries of the region, right? 39 countries of the region, right? यहाँ पे माइक्रो की जगह माइक्रो कर माइक्रो लेवल, at micro level it is this, right? So this is the important thing, right? So beta, basically if we take it in very simple terms, project MOSM is a project to connect the Indian Ocean countries, that is the, right? Indian Ocean countries, the countries which are on the Indian Ocean. This is the, right? Why Indian Ocean countries? What is the commonality? Because all these countries experience monsoon, right? These countries experience monsoon, right? So that is why these countries have, you can say, shared heritage, right? These countries have had shared heritage, right? And shared culture and values. So these countries have something common, right? So that is why if there is something common among these countries, right, then it is in the interest of all, right? Then it is in the interest of all. It is in the interest of all to develop a bond, right, between naturally similar countries or between culturally, right, between culturally near similar countries, right, culturally near similar countries, right, culturally near similar countries, right? So this is the basic purpose behind this, and that will be good to make a bonding like that. So is it clear, beta? So hello.
हाँ जी सर क्लियर से
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I erase it?
Yes, sir.
हाँ
यस
जी
Okay. So beta, the next.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes.
I'm taking 1 minute break.
Okay. So the next is beta Asia Africa Growth Corridor. Asia Africa Growth Corridor. Right? AAGC means Asia Africa Growth Corridor. Right? So AAGC. So as far as this Asia Africa Growth Corridor is concerned, this is known as AAGC. Right? So it's an initiative of India and Japan. Important thing, initiative of India and Japan. It is to enhance connectivity, between the two continents, right? Continents. One is Asia continent, second is Africa continent. ऐसा क्यों? Because India and Japan, right? India and Japan. There are two important things if we combine the two countries, because India's approach is, we can say, people-centric approach. India is a democratic state. Japan is also a democratic state. right? But we can say there is something important there, right? So we can say that India's approach is people-centric approach, right? And Japan's approach is, we can say, Japan's approach is that is quality, right? Quality work ethos. Okay, so Japan has quality work ethos, right? So it means we can say here that, right? It means we can say here that India has people-centric approach and Japan works with quality, right? So beta, if the two countries comes together, right? Because these are the, you can say, characteristics of the two countries in which are well known everywhere, right? So beta, if the two countries come together, then what will happen? Quality development, right? Quality development with people-centric approach. That will be there. With people-centric approach, right? And this will be, you can say, a good initiative, right, to counter Chinese strategy. Right, to counter Chinese strategy, or okay, to you can say expansion of China in expansion of China's influence, we can write China's influence in Africa, right? Because Africa is the future market, very potential continent, sorry, right? So there is a lot of scope of development here. One is that, and second thing is that the economic war between Japan and China, between India and China, right? So Japan and India will, you can say, shift their economic war on the African continent, right? Economic war with China, they will shift it on the African continent, be able to shift it on the African continent also. So the next, so beta, that is why we can say, because China's approach is, that is the debt trap strategy. Okay, China doesn't have concern, or China doesn't have focus on the people, right? China's focus is just it's, you can say, it's self-interest. Okay, China works for self-interest, you can say, self-interest everywhere. Okay, but Japan and India are will provide the quality development with people-centric approach. So we are more humanitarian in approach, you can say, as compared with the China. So that is why the leaders thought that you can say this Asia-Africa Growth Corridor, which is a joint initiative by, you can say, Japan and India, that would be a good, you can say, venture, right, to control China or to contain China from advancing into the, you can say, African continent. Advancing into the African continent, right? It was announced at Gandhinagar. It was announced at Gandhinagar in 2017 during the annual meeting of ADB. ADB means Asian Development Bank, right? So that meeting was held there, and during that meeting, it was, you can see, announced there by the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, right? So the next important thing is that the project is to focus on 4 areas, right? The project is to focus on 4 areas. So this project will focus on 4 areas, right? So what are those 4 areas we are just taking into account? The first area is quality infrastructure and institutional connectivity. One is that quality infrastructure and institutional connectivity. Right, connectivity, the connection of various institutions of the region. Right. Second is enhancing skills. Enhancing skills. Right. And the third point is that we can say developing the development cooperation projects. Right. Development, you can say cooperation projects. Right. So projects where they focus on the development, right? So we can say projects focusing on, we can write it that way, project focusing on right, development in cooperative manner. We can write it that way, so that will be more clear. In cooperative manner, right? And the fourth is that people to people cooperation, right? People to people, right? People to people cooperation, right? So this is the next one, right? So this is there. So next thing I'm writing here is that that the project envisages, the project envisages for closer agreement, right? For closer agreement. So it involves the closer agreement between India and Africa, between India and Africa for sustainable and innovative development. Sustainable and we can say innovative development, right? So we are focusing on providing, right, sustainable development foundation there, right? So that the development may be sustainable, not exploitative manner, right? So this is clearly a move by India and Japan. This is clearly a move by India and Japan in the wake of China's influence in Africa. In the wake of China's influence in Africa. So this is that, right? In the wake of China's influence in, we can say, Africa, right? So AAGC, we can say projects a shared vision. AAGC projects a shared vision of development, and growth across, right, across Africa and Asia. Growth across Africa and Asia. So that is their vision, right? So unlike China's BRI initiative, we can say BRI initiative, BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, right? BRI, unlike China's BRI, right? So which is considered, you can say, which is considered opaque. Opaque means there is no clarity, right? Opaque, because what is the policy of China? It makes, you can say, opaque agreement. Opaque means non-transparent agreement. See, okay? So many things are kept hidden in the agreement, right? Non-transparent agreement, right? And once a country is caught in the debt trap, right? So you can say, then China forces on the country, right? Then China forces the country, right, to give the, you can say, project to China on lease, to give the project to China on lease. So this is the China's expansion agenda, right? So with this happened in the case of we can say Hambantota in the case of Hambantota Port in Sri Lanka. Right, Hambantota Port in Sri Lanka. So this is basically China's strategy. Okay, so it makes opaque agreement. Right, so beta, this we can say, this are AAGC, right? So AAGC, we can say, provides a transparent, AAGC provides a transparent, right, and inclusive, transparent and inclusive, we can say, right, and inclusive alternative to BRI, right, alternative to BRI, right? So Japan and India are saying that if any country needs support for development, we are there, right? China is making opaque agreements, but you can say we are there for the transparent agreement, right? So with that, this is the main thing, right? So you can note it, right? So this is about this, we can say, Asia-Africa Growth Corridor, right? So next is it okay? So next part comes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so beta next part comes, you can say, India's investment in other countries, right? So India's investment in other countries. So this is also some investment is being done by this to counter, we can say, right, to counter the China's string of pearls. So some is that, right? So beta, one is Russia, right? One is Russia. So in Russia's case, we can say, right, dollar, the US dollar, 1.5 billion in we can say Russian oil and gas project, Russian oil and gas project by PSC of Government of India, right? PSC कौन सी है? That is ONGC Videsh, which does all this. So one is Russia. So second is beta, we can say Tajikistan, right? Tajikistan. In case of Tajikistan, we can say we are doing, one is the setting up of computer labs, setting up of computer labs in 37 schools, 37 schools there, one is that. And the second thing is that what we're doing there, right? The second thing is that we can say India constructed power transmission line. What we do is a construction of a power transmission line under ADB financed project, right? Under ADB financed project finance किए थे इसी ADB ने, लेकिन काम इंडिया ने किया है वहाँ. So वो भी एक हमारी एसोसिएशन की एग्जांपल है that we are having such type of association with this country also, right? So after Tajikistan, there is next, we can say Kyrgyzstan, KYRGYZ, right? Kyrgyzstan, STKN. Kyrgyzstan is there, right? So there is this thing also, right? So we can say, so the next comes here is this. So now, as far as the Kyrgyzstan is concerned, now the two countries prepared we can say, prepared a 5-year, right? Prepared a 5-year, we can say, roadmap to increase. We can say, bilateral trade and investment, to increase bilateral trade and investment. So we are in engagement with the countries neighboring India, right? Trade and investment. So we are in engagement with countries, you can say bordering China, countries bordering China, so countries bordering China, right? So this is the case of Kyrgyzstan. And after Kyrgyzstan, about Mongolia, we have already discussed, right? That $1 billion, which is there for the construction of the oil refinery there. So next comes the Vietnam. Vietnam is also a neighbor of, you can say, China, right? So India has near 100 projects. India has near 100 projects, 100 projects in Vietnam with a total, right? With a total investment of about, you can say, $1 billion, right? Of $1 billion. So that is also an important thing, right? So next important point is that Myanmar, right? So as far as the Myanmar is concerned, one is the about three quarters of uh, 1 billion, $1 billion investment in, we can say, infrastructure projects, right? And other projects, and you know that India is developing Sidhu port in Myanmar. We are developing Sidhu port there in Myanmar, right? So this is about, we can say, this Myanmar also. So these are the various countries neighboring China, okay, where India is doing some investment, right? So this is about the investment. Have you noted it down?
1 second, sir.
Okay.
Now you can, sir.
So now the next thing is that we can say India's military engagements with other countries. India's military engagements with other countries, right? So this contains a lot of information, not only related with this question or answer, right? A lot of other information is also there, which is very much helpful to you, right? But it is up to you that how much interest you are taking, I don't know, right? Are you taking interest or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think perhaps I am only speaking and you are not taking interest.
Actually, we are busy in writing today, I think. So,
Yes. Everybody is busy in that.
yes, sir.
Actually, Nishank has one thing more. Nishank has understood now that that you can say it is a competition. So he thinks that he should not share his information with you.
No, sir. No, sir. It is not the case, sir.
Okay.
Actually, I am also not aware about this particular topic. So I'm
No,
listening
no.
very carefully.
No, beta. I'm just kidding, right?
Yes,
I
sir,
know
I know.
that. Yes, I
It
know.
is interesting, sir. We are listening carefully.
Okay. So military engagements with other countries. First of all, we'll talk about Japan. So our military engagement with Japan. So as far as military engagement with Japan, so one is we can write joint military exercise. Joint military exercises, right? Joint military exercises, right? And Quad. You can mention the Quad also. Quadrilateral arrangement. So four countries. So that is also there. Huh? And plus we can mention that an agreement which is under discussion, right, which will give India access of Japan's naval base at, you can see, the Djibouti, right, and which will give Japan the access to India's Andaman and Nicobar naval base, right? An agreement regarding the you can say use of naval bases, right? Mutual use of naval bases also. So that is another important thing, right? An agreement regarding mutual use of naval bases of the two countries, right? Naval bases of the two countries. So this is yet under discussion, right? I hope this will also get mature soon, right? So this is the engagement with Japan, that of India, right? So the second important thing is that, right? So keep it in mind that Japan is, you can say, unable to give access to India of its naval bases or military bases on the mainland of Japan, right, on the territory of Japan, because Japan's constitution doesn't allow for that. So constitution is the hindrance there in Japan, right? So that is why it's not possible for Japan to give access, you can say, on its sovereign land to India, right?
ਫਿਰ ਸਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ constitution ਨਹੀਂ amend ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ?
But they can do, but it is something difficult, no? Because they have to carry it to the parliament also, right? And parliament, sometimes oppositions are there, right? So that is why, right?
But I
So,
guess Shinzo
right.
Abe is quite pro-Indian.
Right. And moreover, constitution in amendment may have, you can say, you can say, lot of, you can say, other long-term implications also, no? So that is there, right? So as far as the Vietnam is concerned, sale of weapons, including pramos, we have already discussed, right? Vietnam, and then South Korea, right? As far as the South Korea is concerned, so India has opened a defense wing at its embassy. India has opened a defense wing at its embassy at Seoul, right? At its embassy at Seoul. So next is this, right? So next is Singapore. So as far as Singapore is concerned, Peter, the two countries signed an agreement for setting up of for setting up of, we can say, joint testing facility, under we can say the defense testing, infrastructure, right? Infrastructure scheme of India. One is that, right? Scheme of India. And India allows Singapore to use, right, to use, we can say, integrated test range, right? Test range at Chandipur, right? To test missiles or rockets. Right? So we have given them this facility also, rockets, right? So this is about the Singapore, right? So India's engagement with Singapore at this level, right? So this is there. So the next point, which is important for discussion, that is Thailand, right? So as far as Thailand is concerned, Maitri, MAITRW, Maitri is a joint military exercise of India. Keep it in mind also, right? Joint military exercise of India between Indian Army and we can say Royal Thailand Army and Royal Thailand Army, right? Royal Thailand Army. So this is a joint military exercise between the two countries, right? So this is there. So next thing is that Indonesia. So as far as the Indonesia is concerned, the navies of the two countries conducted Samudra Shakti. We have already discussed it, right? Samudra Shakti is a naval exercise, joint naval exercise of the two countries, right? So this is about the Indonesia, right? After Indonesia, there is Myanmar, right? So in Myanmar's case, we can say that in 2019, India and Myanmar, we can say the two, right, signed a defense cooperation. The two signed a defense cooperation agreement for bordering military agreement. You can say agreement for, right, defense cooperation. Agreement for defense cooperation. Agreement for defense cooperation, right? A defense cooperation agreement we have already written, right? Defense cooperation for boosting military cooperation between the two countries, right? Boosting military cooperation between the two, right? It includes providing military training, right, to Myanmar's defense personnel. So that is there, right? Myanmar's defense personnel. So this is there now. So this is our association with this Myanmar also. So we are having defense engagement with the Myanmar also, right? And after Myanmar, we have defense engagement with, we can say, Oman as well, right? So can I erase it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are having defense engagement with, you can say, Oman as well, right? So Oman. So as far as Oman is concerned, it is the first country in the world, in the Gulf region. It is the first country in the Gulf region, to establish, we can say, defense relations with India. Right? Gulf means Persian Gulf region, right? With India. Indian Air Force conducts joint exercises with, Royal Air Force of Oman. Right? Royal Air Force of Oman since 2009. So 2009, see, this is happening. The two signed maritime transport agreement also. Maritime transport agreement also. That is the, right? So after Oman, there is Madagascar, right? Madagascar. So as far as the Madagascar is concerned, right, we have already discussed some, you can say, important things over here, right? And so regarding Madagascar, we can say, right? So in 2019, the two countries, we can say, signed MOU, right? MOU to strengthening their defense cooperation, strengthening their defense cooperation, strengthening their defense cooperation. We can say it includes, right? It includes agreement on sharing, right? White shipping, agreement on sharing white shipping information, right? White shipping information and cooperation in the field of we can say hydrography, right? Hydrography related to water, we can say, right? Hydrography. So that is there. So the next is right. The next comes here, right? After this, we can say. So these are the various countries, right? You can write here Seychelles also, right? Seychelles also. So we are in efforts to conduct, right? We are in efforts to set up you can say naval base there, right? Naval base there on Assumption Island, for which the agreement has already been settled, right? Agreement has already been entered into. So we are in, you can say, try to do there also, right? And we are strengthening the, you can say, this defense relations with, you can say, that country, Comoros also, right? We have already discussed it. So now next, which is important to write here, that we can say, right? So under its plan to increase its, we can say, defense expenditure, increase its defense expenditure, right? Sorry, defense exports to we can say rupees, to rupees 35,000 crore by 2025. So this is the aim of India, to increase its defense exports to 35,000 crore by the year 2025. Okay? So India has prepared a list of 85 countries, right? List of 85 countries that it wants to promote. With that, it wants to promote, right? That it wants to promote. That it wants to promote. That it wants to promote its defense industry in. And has empowered its, we can say, has empowered its, right, defense attaches, AWDS, right, across the world in various countries. You can say set the defense attaches and to empower them across the world, right, wherever they are, to showcase Indian capabilities, to to showcase Indian capabilities. That is important, right? So Thailand, it is important here. Thailand, you can say Vietnam, right? Thailand, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Bahrain, Afghanistan, Bahrain, Afghanistan, right? UAE, Malaysia, that is Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Egypt, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Egypt, Turkey, you can say, Uzbekistan, right? Indonesia, Cambodia, Ghana, right? Ghana, South Africa, and Seychelles. Are on priority list, right? Are on priority list. So this is the strategy of India to increase its defense exports also. Okay, up to this much amount by the year 2025. So India has prepared a list of a priority list of the countries, right? And in that priority list, the countries which have been included are these countries: Thailand, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Bahrain, right? Thailand and Vietnam, right? Good countries from the India's point of view, because Thailand is on the Andaman Sea, and even China is planning to, you can say, construct a Kara Channel there. Vietnam is on the South China Sea and has a problem with China also. Bangladesh, where China is, you can say, developing a port there. Which port is there? Is being developed by China and Bangladesh?
I think Chittagong, sir.
Yes. And Bahrain is also a country of the Gulf region. Afghanistan, you can say, near to China. UAE is also a Persian Gulf region country. Malaysia is also near the Malacca Strait. Sri Lanka is another country where the China is developing the Hambantota port. China has developed, right? Turkey is a country which is, you can say, on the that sea of Mediterranean Sea, right? And moreover, you can say Turkey is an influential country in that region. Uzbekistan, neighbor to that country, China. Indonesia is on the Strait of Malacca. Cambodia is country which is sitting, you can say, near the that South China Sea, right? Ghana is an important country in Africa that is separate to that thing. South Africa is an important country of Africa. Seychelles is again a country in the, you can say, Indian Ocean region. So we have doing these efforts, right? So beta, this is the whole, you can say, measures taken by, right? And as far as the earlier measures are concerned, right, which are the we talked about India's, you can say, earlier engagement, right? So you need not to go in much detail in that, right? You can just mention that in, you can say, 2 sentences or 3 sentences maximum, right? Okay, these are the other right, earlier engagements of India in the region, okay, which India can use for its benefit, right, to counter the string of pearls policy of it, right? So, beta, I have discussed it in very much detail, but this is up to you to, you can say, tailor it according to the need of the examination, according to the word limit required, right? So, beta, if we go for the conclusion, right? In conclusion, beta, I have already told you that in this part we will focus on the particular thing that up to what extent China's this policy will be effective, sorry, India's list also will be effective. So beta, if we see in that context, right? So we have to look from various angles, right? We have to look from different angles, right? Different angles. So beta, different angles, what are there? First of all, right? It is no problem to expand, right? It all depends on the commitment of your degree of commitment of your partners, right? Of your partners. Today you are you can say uh, giving something to anybody, so they are accepting that, right? But when the problem will occur, right? When there will be actual war situation with China, the need is that of which country stands with India at that time, right? So no doubt today we are creating soft corner for India in the hearts of those countries, right? But the thing is that whether to what extent those countries are committed with India or not, right? And many of these countries are those where China is also doing the investment, right? In one way or the, or you can say other. So one thing is this commitment of the partners, right? So whether India will be right able to compensate, right, compensate the loss to them, right, if they tilt towards if they tilt exclusively towards India leaving China. So that is the important thing, right? Whether India will be able to compensate them, right? To compensate them, right? If they tilt exclusively uh, them for the loss, they will uh, for the loss, they will you can say face, right? In case, right? They tilt exclusively towards India, leaving China. So this is the big question, right? Exclusively towards India, leaving China. So this is a big question. So in the light of this, we need to see, we need to make the assessment of every country, right? Because there is no problem that when you are giving somebody something, so everybody keeps on accepting that, yes, 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 right? So that is good, that is good. Thanks India, thanks India. Everybody would be saying like that, right? But the problem is that when there will be the real issue, right? Then who will stand with India and who will not? So that is required to see. So this is the one thing, right? So second major thing is that India's economic capability. India's economic capability, right? India's economic capability. It means whether India has enough economic strength to rule these countries. Right? The question is that whether India has enough economic strength to woo those countries, right? Towards itself to make them depend on it. This is another thing which is important, right? So this will also matter, right? Economic capability. And next is because economic capability, you can say affects economic capability affects your ability to help others during the time of crisis, right? during the time of crisis. Okay? To what extent we have been able to help those countries in this, you can say, corona crisis. That is important, right? And Indian Ocean littoral country, many of those countries which we have discussed, the countries in Africa, like you can say Comoros, Seychelles, Madagascar, Mauritius, Reunion, right? Those are frequently hit by the, you can say, storms and floods, etc., etc., right? So is India able to, you can say, keep on helping them on sustainable basis or on continuous basis, and you can say help to the extent they require for that purpose? That is also there, right? To help others, and even better, it affects your capacity, to you can say to bear war. It affects your capacity to bear war also, right? If we are not in capacity, if ultimately we are not in capacity to bear war, then you can say, right? So I think India needs to think that should it, you can say, prefer such a huge amount of expenditure when there are so many internal problems are there. And the next important thing is that beta, practical feasibility is also important, right? Practical feasibility is also important of the, we can say, things, right? Practical feasibility, right? So beta, we have invested. I'm taking an example. We have invested $1 billion in Mongolia. $1 billion in Mongolia. First thing is that, right? And the important question to think is that India is not able to help Mongolia to the extent it requires, right? And there are many other players, big players of the world also, like America and other countries also, China is also there, which are investing into Mongolia, right? So beta, in that case, whether our $1 billion is, you can say, enough to keep Mongolia neutral in case we fight a war with China, or whether that $1 billion of India would, you can say, buy, you can say, buy favor from Mongolia, right, to land its forces on the Mongolian land, right, to we can say, cordon of China, in thing the war, you can say, starts between the two countries. So beta, this is practically not, you can say, feasible. And one thing is that Mongolia would not allow India to do that. And the second thing is that if Mongolia allows also, then it would be not possible for India, for, you can say, Indian forces to go there and to, you can say, cordon of China, right, from that side, right, and to, you can say, fight a war from that front also. So beta, this is also the important point here, right? And the third important point is that India's naval and military strength, right? India's naval and military strength, right? Naval and military strength, as on today, is not enough, enough, you can say, to sustain, is not enough to, we can say, sustain, right? Sustain this expansion momentum, right? This expansion momentum. So we are not in that capacity, right? So we have, you can say, entered into, or we have, you can say, entered into alliances with Japan also, Vietnam also, Singapore also, Indonesia also, Thailand also, Myanmar also, you can say Sri Lanka also, Colombo port we are building there. And that Iran also, Oman also, right? Some other countries are there in the Persian Gulf region. Those I skipped knowingly. and there you can say Mauritius also, right, and Madagascar also, Seychelles also, Comoros also. So whether we have the capacity to, you can say, sustain our relations with you can say all these countries, right? Whether we will be able to continue with them in the long run. So that is another thing, right? And the next thing is, no doubt, right? We were boasting, you can say, right, that we are now sitting near the Strait of Hormuz. One was that, right? And second, we were proud. We were feeling proud that, right, we have the control of Strait of Malacca, right? And due to this thing, right? So now the big question, which you can say arises here is that, right? Suppose we have the control of the Strait of Hormuz, right? So India has a limited number of ships, limited number of naval ships, right? Naval ships, right? In case you can say some war starts up or some emergency arises or some problem with China arises, right? So the thing is that we will require Navy, right, to protect our coastal borders also, right? Coastal borders means our territory, coastal borders also. One thing is that, right? And right, and we will require Navy, right, to watch, you can say, to watch Chinese movements in, you can say, to watch and counter, right? To watch and counter Chinese movements, Chinese movements, Chinese movements in Indian Ocean. We need to watch those also, right? And beta, after doing this all, right, whether we will be having the number of ships spared, right, to choke the Strait of Hormuz or the Strait of Malacca, that is also important, right? Right, whether we will be having the number of ships, right, required to choke the Strait of Hormuz or Strait of Malacca also, okay, and fight there at that front also, right? Because that will require a number of infrastructure, number of manpower, right? Number of ships also, and we are having 200 and something number of ships only, right? And so that number is not sufficient. Seeing the, you can say, strength of the China for us. Yes, Paramjit, what do you want to ask?
ਇਸੇ ਰਿਗਾਰਡਿੰਗ ਹੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੀ ਮਾਈਂਡ 'ਚ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਮਾਇਨਮਾਰ ਦੇ ਕੇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਚਾਈਨਾ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਪੋਰਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਇਕਫੂ ਪੋਰਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ
yes
ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਤੇ ਬਟ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਪੜਿਆ ਕਿ ਐਗਰੀਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਡਿਫੈਂਸ ਪਰਸੋਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਟਰੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਰਿਗਾਰਡਿੰਗ
yes
ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਕੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਰ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਹੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮਾਇਨਮਾਰ ਕਾਫੀ ਕਲੋਜ਼ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਮਤਲਬ ਨੇੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ
Beta basically the beta thing is that, see, on one side is India, right, and on one side is China, right? So beta India's basically, you can say, strategy is that, right, if we completely, you can say, ignore a country, right, then obviously it will have tilt towards China, clear tilt towards China, right? So
yes,
beta,
sir. Yes.
right? So beta, India's basic strategy is to keep on helping those, right? And beta, in case of the trouble, right, if they could be unable to, you can say, stand openly with India, right? At least they would not stand openly with China also, right? And they will try to keep themselves neutral, right? So beta, that is why, yes. So beta, that is why our main strategy, you can say, is to, you can say, develop a soft corner, right, in their minds, right, towards India, right? So we are,
okay, sir.
yes, so we are just trying to win favor, right? So beta, one thing is this, right? So, and the next thing is beta, And the next thing is beta, the various countries, right, on which we are, you can say, uh, right, on which we are sometimes boosted to take action against China also, right? So it is not clear whether those countries, whether those allies of India, whether those friends of India, right, will stay with China, will stay with India or not during the time of crisis, right? We are taking the example of there is one group which is known as the Five Eyes group, right? So, beta, as far as the Five Eyes group is concerned, right? So, Five Eyes group, right, is a basically you can say a group of five countries, right? That is why it is known as the Five Eyes, right? Group of five countries, which the five countries which it includes, that is the USA, right? And second country which it includes, because that is, we can say, the Canada. Second country is the Canada. Right, and third country in this group is UK, right? UK, and the fourth country in this group is, you can say, is Australia. Right, and the fifth country in this group is New Zealand. Right, New Zealand. So these are the five countries in this group, which is known as the Five Eyes group. Right, Five Eyes group. So this is the thing, right? So beta, this is an, you can say, alliance of countries for joint intelligence, right? So this is a alliance of countries for joint intelligence. I'm writing here, right? An alliance of countries, an alliance of countries for joint intelligence, right? So this is a group, right, for joint intelligence. So beta, if we see, right, for joint intelligence, if we see, then beta, in the recent, right, in the recent issue, between, we can say, US, between India and China, right, in the Galwan Valley region, right, where a fight took place between the two countries, right, India and China, right. But the important thing is to see here that the problem rose to, you can say, the problem got, we can say, escalated, right, and it was very, at one point, you can say, it was seeming quite difficult to control the situation, but anyhow we controlled it, right. So the better thing is that at that time, right, what was the reaction of the countries in Five Eye, right? What was the reaction of the countries in Five Eye, right, in Five Eye group? So that is important to see, right? Only and only, you can say, American Pompeo, right, gave statement. That too, when India banned, you can say, Chinese apps, right? When India banned Chinese apps, right, he gave some, you can say, statement that you can say it is a good move by India, like that, right, and nothing beyond that, right, against China, or you can say a warning to China, right, or two, you can say, open statement, you can say, stand with India. That was not there, right. And
Yes, sir.
second important thing is that the UK's Prime Minister released a statement during that time, right, and that, you can say, statement was also that, you can say, situation is quite tense and worrisome, and the both countries, right, should try to resolve their issue bilaterally. So nothing beyond that UK even spoke, right? And better after UK, if we take the example of Canada, right? Canada remains complete silent during this situation, right? Next, if we take the example of New Zealand, right, Peter? New Zealand remained completely silent during this time, right? And Australia's Prime Minister, right, uh, just spoke that you can say we have taking note on the, you can say, situation in the, we can say Indo-Pacific region, right, and particularly in the context of the you can say this territorial dispute between China and India, which is you can say turning hot, right, and nothing beyond that. That person you can say spoke, right. So beta, it means when the situation was becoming so critical for India at that time, right, and beta, no so-called, we can say, okay, allies of the America, right, no ally of America, or you can say no, you can say such country, right, whom we guess that that you can say they are, we can say, anti-China countries, right, or they can, right, they can come to help India, right, better. None of those countries, right, none of those countries, right, come forward to, we can say, come forward, or even give an, you can say, open support, open statement to, you can say, support India, okay, or you can say no one country even, we can say, condemned the action of China, condemned the action of China, that it is wrong what China has done, right. So because seeing with all these things, right, we can say that, you can say, India's necklace of diamonds policy, or India's project Mosam, vagera, vagera, whatever is there, right. So beta, whatever measures India is taking, right, the measures theoretically are good, right, theoretically seems good, but beta, practically, right, practically, we cannot say, right, we cannot say that that these measures, right, would remain effective, that these measures would remain effective, right, would remain effective in case of crisis, right, in case of crisis, or war, or war of India with China, right, of India with China, right, and beta, even you can say, it is the you can say experts analysis that in future the war will be fought on the land of India, right, because the some countries which are not happy on China, right, so those countries will take the advantage of the enmity between, we can say, India and China, right, and they can make India, we can say, the war, the, you can say, place of war, right, because those countries never fought any war on their land, right, those countries always look for some other country, right, where they always have fought the war, and this time also perhaps the same is going to happen. So India should, you can say, take very calculated steps in this case, right. India should not, you can say, believe blindly on on, you can say, any country, right. So if we see Russia would not come forward ever to, you can say, to support openly India against China, right? Because otherwise, US may be with India, Russia may be with India, Australia may be with India, Canada may be with India, Japan may be with India. But beta, the problem is that, okay, who is the second party, right? Second party is one of the world powers, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, right. And beta, and and beta on that second party, right, directly or indirectly, right, directly or indirectly, the economies of, right, their economies are dependent, right? Their economies are dependent, we can say, right? Their economies are dependent. So beta, that is why, right, their economies are dependent. That is the case, right? So beta, if India take any miscalculated step at this time, right, that may, you can say, ruin India. That may, you can say, put India into the debt trap of those countries, because India is not having the economic capacity even. And one more thing, right? China has its own, you can say, defense manufacturing, you can say, facilities, right? Defense equipment manufacturing facilities, right? And India, and you can say India is mainly depending on the, we can say, imported defense equipment. So that is also a big advantage to China and a big disadvantage to, you can say, India, right? So हमने बाहर से परचेज करना है और बेटा उन्होंने अपने घर बनाना है. So that is also a big disadvantage to India. So that is why India needs to, you can say, take very calculated steps. Okay, it should not do any hurry, and I think seeing it so overall, you can say, situation and the conditions prevailing at present in the world, right? And you can say dependability of other economies on China. So with India should, you can say, you can say, take very calculated moves, right? Moves with, you can say, quite संकोच से इसको moves लेनी चाहिए. So ऐसा नहीं कि हम जो भी सामने आए चलो कर लो एग्रीमेंट, चलो कर लो एग्रीमेंट, दे दो $100 million, दे दो $1 billion, राइट, दे दो इसको, राइट, इसको हम वोट्स गिफ्ट कर दो, इसको हम ये कर दो, इसको हम वो कर दो. So that is, I think, right? So India should take the calculated moves now, right? So China's strategy is that if China is investing somewhere, right, China is taking that country into its grip, right? So with that is why China's grip is quite tight as compared to that of India, and
Yes,
quite
sir.
effective also, right? So beta, anything else you want to ask from me, you can ask.